So, very, very briefly, we have been discussing and thinking about most of the things that Catherine has mentioned in her keynote, and we were looking for responses. Realize there are needs, and I don't want to repeat everything that has been said, but I gathered on the slide some of the most important elements of the need, so increase in identity-based hatred and so on, and increasing anti-Semitism, and the realization of the underestimated significance of Holocaust distortion. So we imagined the project, we designed a project which is transnational and addresses the needs, not only those needs, but all the needs that we recognized and realized through research and evidence-based insights, very, very important, through multilingual public awareness campaign and educational resources and training. So these are the three main pillars of the Deconstruct project. The project targets educators, students primarily, but also decision makers and policymakers. As I said, this goes hand in hand, so one group cannot work without the other. We provide tools and training to counter anti-Semitism and Holocaust distortion and promote media literacy. Again, this comes hand in hand. And critical thinking. So we cannot just develop something that focuses on one element. We need to provide complex responses. The consortium is composed of 6 partners in 4 countries. From Hungary, it's led by Zachor Foundation, hand in hand with HÉTFA Research Institute. Our Italian partners are colleagues from the University of Florence and the National Research Institute. From Greece, the Aristotle University in Thessaloniki, and from Portugal, the Center for English Studies at the University of Lisbon. We are extremely, extremely grateful for our partners, and believe me, we've been through several partnerships, and this looks like an excellent working together. The aim is to empower individuals and communities to learn, understand, and take action. Learn, understand, and take action. Understand, learn, and take action. The order can be slightly reversed, but this is our point. And before I give the floor to Luca, I would like you to listen to a very short clip from the already referenced Professor Yehuda Bauer, about what he said about distortion and anti-Semitism. This is an IRA resource, and video lecture that has been taken with, or that was taken with him a couple of years ago before he passed away, about distortion, and we use clips from this lecture and his testimony in educational materials. This is really for you to provide a kind of a general understanding, and I hope the sound will work.
So you have anti-Semitism as a major factor in the outbreak of World War II. And World War II, in Europe alone, caused some over 35 million casualties. Of these, a few million were Jews. But at least 29 million, and probably many more, were non-Jews. And these non-Jews died, to a large extent, because of anti-Semitism. Now, when you deny that, you distort that, you hide that, this is distortion. And this distortion, as I say just now, is a distortion not just of Jewish history, because the Jews are, after all, a very small minority in the world. Today, some 15 million out of 7.5 billion people in the world. It is a danger to society generally, because it creates a world that never was. And that is really an analysis of distortion. Distortion creates a useful past What is a useful positive? A positive is useful for the nationalists, for the ones who want to continue in actual fact anti-Semitic policies.
Thank you for listening to Professor Bauer, and
So you
I would like to give the floor now to Luca to speak about why we thought research is important and what the results are.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, my name is Luca Koltai from HÉTFA Research Institute, and I would like to share some of the main findings of some of the researches we've done during the Deconstruct project. We've made a baseline study with the partners. It was a joint work of all the partners who made a mixed method research, so with literature reviews, teacher interviews, surveys among students in 4 countries. So thank you for your help. And I will present some of the main findings. So these are just some. I'm a researcher, so we had a big research report about it. But I would just like to share some of the main findings related mainly to the students. And yeah. It changed, okay. So, the students' attitudes towards discrimination. This was one of our finding, that we've asked different sentences and the agreement of the sentences which highlights discrimination among students. And we saw that still there is a lot of students who agree on somewhat to these discriminatory sentences, for example, whether it is acceptable for landlords to prefer a majority group of tenants, or in our society it is better when everyone shares the same cultural background. So these sentences, these narratives are present among the students, and some of them, for example, we also asked if discrimination is a problem in their countries, how students see that. In some countries it was even higher, but still you can see that the majority of students thinks that discrimination, some ways or some kind of discrimination, is present in their countries, so they have some intention about it, and it was even higher in Hungary and Greece. And then we were curious about things related to media literacy and how these teenagers are collecting information all over. And we saw that the online information, websites and blogs and articles, the online was the most important at that time. And then family, social media, and the AI platform. And you don't see in this, you see that the online, the digital world is very much part of where they're collecting information. And there was a change we've done during the evaluation. We've done a new survey about a year after, and the AI platforms moved to the first place. So the AI platforms replaced the online information, which is, our keynote speaker already mentioned, which is very dangerous, how they get the information. But we have to accept that the online sphere is a main source of information for the younger generation. We were also curious about trust. Okay, we know that online and digital media is a very important source of information, but do they trust? Who do they trust? And as it was also mentioned in many polls, also similar results, that teachers and school researchers and family and older people are still trusted information. So even there is a huge influx of information from the online sphere, they trust more kind of traditional sources of information, like the teachers and family and books or ebooks. So that's why it is important to help those teachers who are a trusted source of information when youngsters and teenagers have difficult questions in their mind. Encountering misinformation. Yes, their life, their world is full of misinformation. So there is a flood of fake news, and as it was already mentioned, a world full of lies. So younger generation, teenagers, have to decide every second of their life with the short TikTok videos if it's true or not, if it's lie or not. How do I trust? Do I trust in it? So they met fake information, and they realized that there is a lot of fake information around them. So they're quite clear about it. They know that not everything is true. Most things are not true, what they see on the online media. Some of them, most of them, somehow checking the information, so they are frequently verify information. Some of them do this with cross-checking multiple sources, which could be similar than the original. So checking one information with other TikTok video as maybe not shows the same results. But they're also asking family, they're also asking parents, they're also asking peer groups, they're also asking teachers. So there is a point when they feel that they need some other information than the online sphere, than outside, and move to, how do I say, to real people, to ask information. So what is it? Depends. Lack of time. Okay, teenagers don't have too much time to do things. And lack of motivation. So it needs a motivation, and it also needs that they need to see that, have the doubt when they see the information. They have to realize that there is a doubt if it's true or not. So it really depends. But Holocaust. Almost everyone heard about the Holocaust who we asked for, and kind of most of them had somewhat information about Holocaust. So they were aware of the term, at least. But how do they get those information? Young people in our survey said that the main source of knowledge were teachers and schools. So most of the information coming from this traditional and, in the same time, kind of trusted source of information. So that's very important. And then movies and family and relatives were also a very important part. So it seems when we talk about Holocaust, most of the information is coming from kind of traditional sources and less from online media and digital information sources. Some of the distorted narratives were also asked from these teenagers and young people, and we saw that there is a majority of rejection related to Holocaust denial or victim blaming or some of the distorted narratives, but still there are about a third who were kind of agreed with distorted narratives, and also in some cases they don't know, so they cannot decide if they agree or not, or what to do. So there is an opportunity to strengthen what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's lie, and just moving forward, the main important message from me is that the life of young people and the information of young people is full of distorted narratives and lies and fake news, and they still trust teachers and family and it's a very good start for our project and also to shape their lives. And I give.
Thank you. I will give the floor back to Luca in a second. So before I jump on to the second pillar, I just want to say that those of us who work in the field, we are not, whether as researchers or as teachers, we're not very surprised about these results. But we had to have these results. It is really important to base our actions, further content development actions, not on our suppositions and experience and things, but we need to base them on evidence. And that's why it is really important that we incorporated this research element. The full baseline study will be available on the project website, which I will share later. Now, before I continue with the educational piece, I would like to say a few words about the second pillar, which is which was a social media awareness raising campaign. And here, I have to refer back to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance and its partners, UNESCO, European Commission, OSCE, and other UNESCO, yes, other partners. They launched a social media campaign called Protect the Facts a couple of years ago. These are, they developed little assets that were published on social media to raise awareness. Great. Coming from Hungary, I have a pretty good understanding of how much is understood of the English language assets that go out on social media in my local context. So we thought that maybe it's interesting to address the audience in their local languages and with the locally relevant messages. So we included in the project an element that kind of translated and localized this social media campaign into Greek, Hungarian, Italian, and Portuguese. And we pushed out mostly on Facebook. Again, we had discussions about which platform to use, but we decided on Facebook, and we pushed out these assets, and we had some very, very interesting experience. So we published pages, local language pages, Protect the Facts, and Protect whatever, in Italian and Greek and so on. On Facebook, and they were picked up. So there was pretty strong response, very intense response. But on Facebook, we could not ban comments. So all of a sudden, we found ourselves in a position where we had to spend hours reading through the comments and moderating the comments because, and this was kind of parallel with the Gaza war. So we had very, very difficult comments, and we spent really, all of us in the consortium spent really a lot of time moderating these comments. On the other hand, this is very interesting to see what kind of comments these are. This is could be the topic of another research. While in Italy and Greece, Portugal, a little bit, it was mostly about anti-Semitism in the form of anti-Zionism. In the Hungarian comments were like real right-wing extremist comments, like the old-fashioned anti-Semitism. Many of those were referring to pseudo-scientific sources, and that was very striking. And again, why it is important to do such things before you develop content. So this informed us, and we developed one specific educational module that addresses that kind of denial, distortion element. So we worked with the elaboration of the film Denial, which is a famous case. So this activity, this educational module doesn't come back in any other languages, but we felt that for the Hungarian context, based on the comments, it is important. In the second phase of the project, we took a different approach, and we published content and information mostly on the Deconstruct project page, and this helped. So, quote unquote, Nazis didn't come here too much. So, like, protect the facts and these assets, they really drew and invited Nazis. The second kind of wave of our social media campaign was more peaceful. There are thousands of followers of these pages in all languages, so I think it's a success story in a way. So I'm just a brief overview about the educational elements, because I will talk about it in the second half of the program today more deeply. So we developed digital testimony-based learning activities, 20 in total. We organized teacher training programs based on these educational activities modules. We organized student pilots and also a student video essay contest. So these were the educational components. And I'm listing this because it's important for you to know what was done, which was assessed. And then Luca will talk about the impact assessment of these elements.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, I will highlight some of the most important findings. At HÉTFA, we did an evaluation of the project, and why we did evaluation, first of all, because I believe that if we do something, then we should know where do we get after that. So we are not, some things we are just doing for fun, but a project like this, we have a goal here. And we don't know if we are there, if we don't measure. So that's why we did an evaluation. We wanted to see the change which this project resulted, the change related to the young people who participated, the change and the help the project provided to teachers and educators. So I believe that evaluation is very important, not only to see what worked and what not, but also to show partners, policymakers, funders, that this project changed the world, and in what way and how much. So that's what we tried to capture in the project, with also a mixed method research with great help from the partners, from the teachers who gave us their times and shared their experiences, and who supported young people to fill out silly online questionnaires after the school. So thank you very much for everyone who participated and supported the evaluation. We did research, we did questionnaires, we did interviews, and we also done surveys among students who participated in the different lectures and activities of the project. We did a before and after, so a baseline and a follow-up questionnaire with the students. And at this time, again, I'm only sharing some highlights here, but there is a huge research paper, but you can read. So, we saw that we asked some statements and how much students agree. So these are the results of the student surveys. And we saw that in most statements, the feedback from the students were very positive, which either means they're very happy people, which is good, after a class about Holocaust, and also that they kind of enjoyed these activities. They were able to connect. They were able to enjoy what's happening there, and also I would like to highlight the importance of personal stories, which was highlighted by the students, the teachers also, and I think one of the most important takeaway from our evaluation that students found it very relatable to meet actual people, to meet the personal stories behind statistics, behind history and historical facts. So it helped them to connect to what's happened in the past. And also they learned new things about Holocaust, and also they they trust themselves more, realizing distortion and distorted narratives. So, as Andrea already said, learning happens when they are active and they can connect to the facts and the stories. So, about kind of the same message here about the eyewitness modules and how students use the eyewitness modules as the biggest change from the first and the second time survey was on personal stories, and how personal stories are important to understand history and to find and to differentiate facts and lies, and how to find distorted narratives. So the personal stories were important to them. And I think which is also important to mention here, that students, through these personal stories, students get closer to understand how fake information and distorted narratives can change a life story, how the life of those people changed because of these narratives. So it kind of shows that if you believe it, you trust the distorted narrative, it has consequences, long consequences to the life of real people. So we have collected some of the most important messages of our evaluation and the baseline study. And first of all, that education, Holocaust education matters. It continues to face challenges. Teachers and educators are continued to face challenges, how to talk about Holocaust. But they are the most trusted source of information for the young generations. So it's very important as schools and educators play the most crucial role around it, even in the time of digital media and social media information flow. When we talk to teachers, we also saw that teachers seek to use innovative methods. They're looking for tools, they are looking for practices which are reflecting how the young generation are collecting information, which are reflecting to the interactive and fast information flow when they are living. So teachers are open to new methods, they're looking for new methods, so that's why eyewitness modules were very helpful for teachers to how to make this information about Holocaust more accessible to young people. And then personal stories matters. Personal stories matter for young people still. They listen to the personal stories, they can connect. It was important to, for example, listen to stories of people who lived in the actual place they are living right now. So they kind of can connect through the same geography throughout the time. So personal stories matters, and eyewitness modules were able to give this personal voice in a short and understandable way, which was kind of which they could follow. And then the fifth is what is say critical thinking is key. So not even if we are talking about Holocaust information and distortion, but differentiate facts between facts from fake news. Critical thinking is key, and to develop these skills among young generation will help us not only to fight against Holocaust distortion, but also to fight against any kind of distorted narratives, discrimination, and fake news. So critical thinking and developing skills related to critical thinking will be a key issue. Thank you.